Hello, and welcome back to 50 Questions Mormons Can't Answer, Answered. And as seems to be the tradition with the lightning suit that Evie has on, we have a... well, this one isn't quite as goofy as some of the previous questions were, but it's a bit lighter. The last one got... last question I answered got pretty heavy, just... yeah, because I just found it a very emotional topic. We'll just say that. So anyway, we're on the slightly fun electric suit with Evie looking out at London, and let's flip over to the view we have. We had this one last time, the Buster Keaton. So we are back doing this one from the top as we explore Victorian London. So you'll remember back when I stringed 4 of the questions together because they were all based on the same assumption. Well, the person who wrote all these 50 questions has added another one based on the same assumption, but put it later, so just to mess with me. Ugh. He actually had this moment in mind when he wrote it. Now, anyway, question 46. If having a physical body is necessary to become a god, how did Jesus become a god before he had a body? So, I feel like this is kind of a goofy question, but, you know, I'll take it seriously. So, I've already discussed kind of how a lot of early literature of the church uses the different definitions of the word God and so on, so I won't really get into that. I won't get into kind of the misconceptions spread by the God makers and other anti-Mormon sources. But I will reframe the question, because I think it is a valid question, just, you know, it needs a slight reframing, which is, instead of saying, if having a physical body is necessary to become a god, I would reframe it to say, if having a physical body is necessary for eternal progression, how did Jesus become a god before he had a body? Or how did Jesus, you know, progress before he had a body? So, to kind of explain it and put it in terms of eternal progression, we believe in a pre-existence where we existed as spirits. As part of our progression, we came to Earth. We had, you know, a veil put over our memory so we couldn't remember the pre-existence, and we got a body. And that is part of our eternal progression, is to get a body. It was a major step in it, and then, you know, we proceed on to make the right decisions, follow the Lord, obey the commandments, choose to obey the commandments, things like that. So it's part of a progression that will continue after we die, and that we are part of right now. So we believe having a physical body is part of that progression. So we look at, now let's take a look at Jesus Christ. Now we believe he created the earth, as stated in 1 John, as stated in a few different places in the New Testament. He created the earth. We believe he was Jehovah of the Old Testament. And that he was the one that the prophets interacted with, and so on and so forth during the Old Testament. We believe he came to earth, got a body, and, you know, became the savior and the redeemer of the world. So the question is, if Jesus was Jehovah in the Old Testament, how was he a god before he came to earth and got a body? Well, the answer is, I have no idea. So, you know, let's remove part of the assumption. Part of the assumption is that Christ's progression is the exact same as our progression. Christ is clearly on a different path and doing different things than we are. That's his role, that's his responsibility, and he does it very well. We have to figure out how to live and how to be ourselves. So it's the assumption of the question is that Christ would be on the same progression level that we are, and the same rules that apply to us would apply to him in terms of limitations and so on and so forth. Christ has far more responsibilities than we do, and as such, the limitations that we have don't necessarily apply to him. Now, this is, you know, I will say straight up, this is my opinion. This isn't official church doctrine, but this is also really not a question that we normally ask, which is, you know, what is Christ doing that we aren't doing? What, you know, we don't really ask that question. We acknowledge his responsibilities, and we are very grateful and thankful for the sacrifices he makes and is making on our behalf. And I think that should be where your head is, not at this point in the question like, well, why doesn't our eternal progression match Christ's eternal progression? Well, he has more responsibilities than we do, so, you know, our focus should be on being grateful. I mean, that's... A lot of these questions seem to forget the basics of Christianity and of religion in and of itself in an attempt to kind of show that our religion is wrong. They forget the basics of just straight up Christianity, which is being thankful and grateful for what Christ does for us, and not comparing our lives to Christ's life. Because I can guarantee you, Christ would win in pretty much any comparison. You think you've suffered in life? Well, compared to Jesus Christ, you haven't. And so on and so forth. So it's just one of those questions where I have to ask, does this person really understand Christianity when they ask these questions? And it's like, yeah, it's just kind of an odd question in that regard. Anyway, that was the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of riding the train at this point. I'm liking this view. I'm not sure if we've gotten this particular view from this angle before in the game. So it's pretty darn cool, I think. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.